Hey, it's Joseph with Ghostly Pixels, and this is video 2 in a Introduction to Sketch series. So I am working my way down a web page, designing it from scratch. So in the first video I designed the header of the web page, and this video will pick up where I left off and continue designing down this page. And one of the key items we will be covering today is creating symbols in Sketch, which are very powerful. It's a very powerful feature in Sketch to where you can design an element one time and edit it in one place, but have multiple instances of it throughout your web page and website design. So let's continue down the page and let's jump in here. So here we are in Sketch. We're starting at the exact same point that I left off in the last tutorial. So in part 1, we created everything you see so far on the screen. So first off, this grid looks a little tight to me. I'm going to go ahead and increase this gutter spacing here. So you can see these subtle pink lines. Sketch actually calls it layout. So you can access it with the view menu, and I'm going to select show layout, or I'm sorry, layout settings. We're already showing the layout. So the layout settings, I'm going to go ahead and increase my gutter width here. Let's double it. So it's going to in turn reduce my column width. Okay, so I'm a little more comfortable with this width. As I add these columns, we can add some breathing room. So real quick, this is not going to be my best design work. I'm really just cranking this out on the fly to demonstrate really the Sketch software. So let's insert a rectangle. So we can go to, well, we can either type R or we can go up here and do insert shape rectangle. Alright, so let's go ahead and drag out our rectangle here. I want to make it 4 columns wide. And as you can see, it's not exactly lining up with the grid here, but that's very easy to fix. So by default, Sketch gives it a border as well. I want to hide that border. So this rectangle I'm actually going to use as an image mask when I place my image on the page. So I'm going to type Command plus to zoom in here. And I want to make sure that this is perfectly lined up with the grid. Another way to do this as well, you can actually snap to grid, and you can add the show grid as well. If you want to snap your rectangles to grid, that's a way to do it. So in a minute I will be adding an image here, but let's go ahead and add the text. So I'll type T. I'm going to type, let's make this larger here. Well, that would be huge. Okay, let's drag this over here, and I'm going to go ahead and type heading. Okay, I want this left aligned, and let's go back. Let's pick Helvetica New. Actually, just Helvetica is fine. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and left align this. You can shift click, and then you can to select more than one element. Then you can click the left align icon. There you go. That's one way to do it. And if you want to if you want to nudge this 1 pixel at a time, you can push the up arrow and down arrow, or you can hold down shift as well. So if I hold down shift, then my element moves in increments of 10 pixels. So there we go. All right. So now let's add some supporting text beneath this. So I'll type T to insert text, or I could go up to the insert menu. I'll click and drag right here, and let's go ahead and type alright. Now let's go ahead and make this text a little bit smaller. Okay, let's move this near the other one. Alright. Lastly, well, first off, I don't want this character spacing. That's not necessary. I'm going to make that 0. Okay. As well, there's a lot of different text settings. We're not going to cover all of these. Most of them are pretty self-explanatory. But we will discuss how to actually create a text style here. So for this heading, I could select Create New Text Style. And I could name it, let's say that this is an H3. If you're familiar with coding a web page, it stands for heading 3. So there we go. Now, here's the advantage of this. Actually, I'll demonstrate the advantages in a minute, but go ahead and let's hold that thought. I'm going to create a style here. Create a new text style. We'll call this one body text style. Okay, cool. So now, in a minute, we will actually edit these styles and you will see the style updated in multiple instances. So it's very powerful. It's almost like you would use CSS if you're coding a website. So next I want to insert a rounded rectangle, so I'll type U for that. Or I could go to insert rounded rectangle. I'll click and drag. Perfect size doesn't matter yet. We'll get to that in a minute. I'll deselect fill. Let's make this one an outline style. I'll go with size of 3. And right here I can control the radius of the button. As you can see, as I drag this, we either increase the roundness or decrease the corner radius is a better way to say it than roundness. Let's go with 5. Cool. Alright, so you can see we have some nice subtle rounding here. Okay, next up, let's insert some text into this button. So I'll type T, and let's go ahead and type. So I want to go ahead and group these as well. So I'll shift click to select both elements. Let me go ahead and do the center line text for the text, and then let's go ahead and align these items together. There we go. And now let's go ahead and group these up. I'll click on the group icon, so now they're in a folder together. Let's go ahead and apply a style to the button text. Let's call it create new text style, button style. Awesome. Let's go ahead and make it bold. And then, by the way, when you edit a style, an instance of a style, you need to go ahead and click this. It's almost like a recycle type icon. You need to click this to make sure that your update is applied to the style itself and not just this instance of the style. There we go. All right. So actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and make. Let's go ahead and apply the transform as well to uppercase. So let's go ahead and click here. Text transform uppercase. Then that will force an uppercase button every time. All right. So I have my elements here. Next, I want to go ahead and add an image. And this is a little bit review. We already applied an image mask in the previous tutorial, but let's go ahead and do it again. I want to insert an image here. I went ahead and just downloaded 2 images off my website, so I have them placed on my desktop. And I'm going to go ahead and drag one in here as an example. All right, so it's a little bit larger. Let's go ahead and scale it down a little bit. So I'll hold down on Shift, drag from the corner. Now I want to use this as a mask. So I'll shift click to select both of these elements, and I'll click on mask. And there we go. We have now masked the image. And I'll shift click again to scale it down a little bit. So there we go. Let's pretend that's exactly how I wanted it. Good to go. All right, so we are now going to create a symbol out of these elements. This is bugging me. Let's nudge this up a bit. Okay, so I'll select these 4 separate elements, and I will select, or I will click create symbol. So now the power of a symbol is this allows me to, once I've created the symbol, place multiple instances of this single symbol on a web page, and then update the symbol from one location and see my changes take effect. So I will call this homepage group, whatever you name it, something descriptive. And now I want to send this to the symbols page. This is optional, but that's how I like to organize my sketch document. I will click OK. All right, now if I click here, I can access my symbols page as well. So we see my main header's already symbol. Let's go back to page 1. All right, so now I can go to insert symbol and select homepage group. I'll shift click. I'll add another one. Insert symbol homepage group. All right, now I have 3 instances. Okay, so I'll select all 3. I'll make sure that they're aligned, spread out equally across the page, and then top align them. All right, cool. So now, if I want to edit one of these instances, I can update the content without changing any of the others. So right here, I can choose a different image. I can edit my button text. There you go. I updated the text here. Here I can update my content text. There we go. And I can update my heading. There we go. Alright, so as you can see, very powerful option. And if I go back, if I double click on any of these items, let's go ahead and change my image too. So I'm going to go ahead and click on one of these. I'll click choose image, and then I'll select my image. Boom, it goes ahead and updates the image. So if at any point I want to edit the master symbol, I can double click, and now I can come here and I can, let's say if I want to scoot the button up. There we go. Let's go back. Return to instance. All these buttons have been scooted up. So now to demonstrate the power of the text styles palette. So if I want to edit any of my text styles that I'm using on this page, I can double click. And now as I select each of these elements, so now I can actually edit this text. So if I click here and I want to change the color, I'll use the eyedropper. Let's match this blue. Awesome. Let's go ahead. And now if I return to instance, as you can see, I've updated the text style across, and now it is automatically applied across my design. So this is very powerful when you want to make global changes. So let's double click again. Here I want to change this border. So let's go ahead and adjust this color. It's a little off the screen here, but I'm sampling this color again to match. Go to my heading. I can select bold. So to make sure that we apply this style everywhere, I want to click this, or to make sure that we update the master style and not just this instance of it, I want to click these arrows icon. Looks a little bit like a recycling icon. I'll click that, and now it has edited the master style itself. So let's return to instance. As you can see now, very powerful capabilities. A lot of time saving can be achieved using symbols. I hope this video was handy for you. To receive the next video in this Introduction to Sketch series, subscribe beneath this video, and I will send the next video your way.